Hi, this is Asa, and welcome to my audio experience.
But sometimes we look at health and we think, what really is it? What is it comprised of? And there's three main areas of health. We talk the health triangle. And I talk a lot about that in my book. Now, it breaks it down in three main areas. One is the mental side of health. That's your brain chemistry, neurotransmitters, all those big funny words, and your subconscious mind. There's a subconscious mind. We call it the computer of the brain. It's the part that functions when you don't even know it's functioning. It can happen with life experiences that just gather in your brain. It can happen from the self-talk that you give yourself, your attitude. And you talk to yourself, right? You do. Don't sit there and tell me you don't, because you do. We all do. And it's what we call it self-talk. And that programs it. Some people sit there and just they downplay themselves. They'll say, "Oh, I'm so stupid," or "I'm an idiot," or "I never do anything right." And you got that negative connotation, whether it's been passed down from your parents, from low self-esteem, from just life, where it's been handed you just some challenges, and you've just become kind of beat down. So if you change consciously your self-talk, you can literally reprogram the computer that's in your brain that resets everything within your body and can change literally physiology within your body. So just know that all of that's important. Your mental side of your health is so critical. And I always talk about it, and I think it's important. Mind-body medicine that we're doing research in currently is finding all kinds of aspects of how much the mental side of our health impacts. And we have to make sure that we have that set, and we have to make sure that it is at a high level. That's why you see so much of even all the self-help people out there, Tony Robbins and the like, focus so much on your peak brain performance and the way you think, the way you talk to yourself. Critical. All right, then the second side of the health triangle is the chemical side. And we call that because of the nutritional side of the body physiology, and how it's affected, how the heart, liver, lungs, kidneys, brain, how all the organ systems work and how well they function. Also, if there's any nutritional deficiencies in the body, and restoring those so the body can have optimal function. Then you have the third side of that health triangle called the structural side. That's the bones, muscles, and nerves, and they play a huge role in the body. I mean, if your skeleton wasn't there and your bones, everything just collapse and be a bunch of mush. So that's extremely important. The nervous system controls everything. It's like the power cords. And so the electric cords of the body, they control the organ systems, glands, and everything. If you don't think it does, go on in there and cut one of the nerves and watch what happens. Go into your forearm. Go on in there. Cut your ulnar nerve and watch what happens. Have fun with all that. Because what happens is your nerves control everything. And so our nervous system is a key role. And if we don't address it on a day-to-day basis and looking at it in the entire equation, and that's why different professions like osteopathic medicine, which started out years ago looking at the structural part of the body, it was based more on the vascular side of things. Now it's blended into more traditional medicine. Chiropractic medicine, which I'm a big fan of because you look at the nervous system, and that's what the entire field is based on. Now, you have to combine that. That's one aspect of health. It's not everything, but these are some areas that need to be addressed for overall wellness and overall health. So the health triangle, mental, chemical, structural, look at all three sides, put them all together, and that's how you make someone whole and can really get to the root cause of what somebody is dealing with. So just something and a little key to think about. 888-283-7272. Lines are open. You can also go online, shoot me an email. Let's go now to Tanya. Hi, Tanya.
Hi, how you doing?
I am living well, darling. What's going on? Talk to me.
I have a 28-year-old daughter that's been diagnosed with spinal cerebellar degeneration.
Okay.
And she has an imbalance, and she's sleep apnea and high blood pressure. What is it, if anything, we can do?
All right, so she has sleep apnea.
Yes, which caused her to gain a lot of weight.
Well, a lot of weight, right. So what's the main, out of all those, when you say what can I do, what's the main one you want to focus on?
The cerebellar degeneration. She's on a walker, but we're looking into getting a wheelchair because her balance is real bad and she's not really doing good on the walker.
Okay. Who's she seeing right now? I mean, she's seeing what type of physician is she seeing right now?
Well, just what you call a practice regular doctor, And
family
he sent
doctor?
her to a neurologist to have.
So the neurologist.
Yeah.
So you got a neurologist and a family doctor involved, right?
Right.
Okay. And at this point, what are they having her do?
Nothing.
Nothing.
She's on meds for diabetes, metformin, high blood pressure, lisinopril, and she takes aspirin.
Is the pain too much for her to work out and exercise and do all that?
Well, with the weight, yes, and she's real stiff, real stiff, and she can barely lift her feet up.
Do you guys have any? You guys have any access to like a YMCA in your area?
Well, we're going to look into that, but right now it's just hard getting her around. It's really hard getting her around. But I'm just looking into maybe just getting her outside, walking up and down the street. But she gets
that's
really good.
I think that, a non-inflammatory diet where it's really balanced with proteins and fats and carbohydrates is going to be important. But also getting her into, this is just my thought, an osteopathic physician or a chiropractic physician to bring them into her team so they can start looking at the structural side of the body. Now, the weight's an issue, but you want to make sure that everything is where it needs to be, that the degeneration can be slowed down, and it can. You need someone that can look at it from that perspective. The neurologist is great. You got to have them on board. They are. I mean, that's the whole different animal in neurology. So you need them on board. But I think that someone working on the structural part of the body, whether it be chiropractic physician or an osteopathic physician, is so important. And in this situation, extremely important. So look at getting someone like that on your team. Our preferred wellness providers, that's kind of the mantra with that, is looking at the whole person. So just as you're contemplating that could be helpful. But here's the deal. She has to get moving, painful or not. She has to. There's a great product out, and I have no ties to this. It's called Amino Active. And Amino Active, you can Google it. It's incredible. It's a natural amino acid, which is like a protein-based product that works and reduces a lot of the pain receptors, can help increase bone density, and can cut down a lot of the pain issues. It's a phenomenal product. I don't think you can get it at health food stores. I think it's more like a mail order kind of thing, but look into that. It's called Amino Active. But yeah, it's really and truly, with where she is, activity is the key. So whether you get her out in the grass, walk her down a track or whatever, I would still recommend a pool if you can, okay? Keep me posted on how she's doing.
Hi, it's Asa. I'm giving you a copy of my best-selling book for free to help you in your health journey today. I'll pay for the book. All you do is just cover the small shipping and handling costs. Go to asarx.com and get your free book today.
To find out more, connect with On Call Radio online at InShapeNetwork.com.
Harold, you're next on the show. Welcome. How can I help?
Yeah, I've been having problems with my gums, man. Still there?
Oh, I'm here.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, can you turn that down for us, please? It's tough to hear.
No. Yeah, I was at work. I'm sorry. Can you hear me now?
I can. What's your question?
Yeah, I've been having problems with, bleeding gums.
Okay.
Like, I tried everything. I'm trying the aloe vera now. It's like I bought a jar of aloe vera. It's like jelly, so I drink it, and I rub it on my gums. I've been doing it for about 5 days. I know it's going to take a little more time. But my diet consists of just vegetables, maybe a yellow rice. I don't eat pork. I don't eat beef. I probably eat a little chicken, a little fish, a little turkey. I don't drink sodas. I only drink, vitamin D orange juice. I don't eat candy. I don't eat chocolate. I don't eat cookies. I can't eat anything. I can't eat peanuts. I've been to the dentist. He cleaned me a lot, and we tried different little organic, natural things, but it's still having a problem.
Is it bleed on its own, or is it just bleed when you brush your teeth or something?
Sorry?
Does it bleed on its own, or does it bleed when you brush your teeth?
Okay, when I brush, it don't. But it depends on what I eat. If I eat some fries that day, And then I went to sleep and woke up the next day and brushed my teeth. I mean, it's just always just one side in the front, just in the front on the left side, just that one side. So I know when I ate something that I shouldn't have ate because it'll take about a day or two and it may bleed just a little. But other than that, it's not bleeding constantly.
Sure, I understand. Okay, a couple things with the gums themselves. A lot of times vitamin C can get low in the body, and I know you mentioned drinking orange juice, and vitamin C is in a lot of fruits and vegetables, so increasing your dark leafy green vegetables and adding in more of fresh berries, strawberries, blackberries, blueberries, that sort of thing can be helpful. But even getting in an orange rather than orange juice can give you about 80 to 100 milligrams of vitamin C to the point your body can heavily use that. Many times when the gums begin to bleed or they bleed easily, become tender or swollen, a lot of times vitamin C, you're not getting enough of it or you're not absorbing it or getting the right kind. And so if you're not getting enough of it in your diet, sometimes that can happen. So just something to think about. You can do supplemental vitamin C in those kind of cases. The research behind that can show, just whatever the brand you end up getting. But an orange, eating an orange or two every day, the whole orange, not orange juice because it's processed, but eating an entire orange because the pulp and all that, the body absorbs that very well and gets plenty of vitamin C. So sometimes that can be an issue. Also, rutin, R-U-T-I-N, is a great supplement that's been known to help with those kind of situations too. So you might want to look into it. But I mean, far from a medical standpoint, if you've already gone to the dentist and they're working with you a little bit on there, do what they tell you. That's for sure. If it doesn't clear up, I would recommend, I would probably, I take that back. I would recommend this anyway. Go to your primary care physician if you haven't in a while and get some blood work done. You want to get blood work done for a couple of reasons. One, just to see what's going on inside your body. Two, you want to make sure there's no nutritional deficiencies. I'm mentioning some things to you, but you only know for certain when you get some good nutritional lab work done. The Natural Care Network is a great company that does that sort of thing. So you might want to look into that and find out exactly where your nutritional deficiencies are and what the body needs to be done for that, what you need to be doing for the body. So keep me in the loop on that. I'll be glad to help any way that I can. 888-283-7272. That's 888-283-7272. Quote for the day: take rest. A field that has rested gives a bountiful crop. That was Ovid, who was actually the one quoted by that. Powerful. Think about it. Resting on a regular basis makes a huge difference in your health and in your life. Leonard in Palm City, Florida. My dad just turned 75 at the beginning of the year. Go, Dad. He's really struggling with arthritis. The joints in his hands are the worst. What can he do to help the condition? I'll tell you what, arthritis, it's an itis. So anytime you have itis, you got to think inflammation, right? So what do? Eat anti-inflammatory foods or non-inflammatory foods. Lean quality chicken, fish, beef, good lean quality proteins all the way around. Yogurt can be very good. Goat's milk yogurt, phenomenal. And then your lean quality, your low glycemic carbohydrates in the form of fruits and vegetables and healthy fats. So you want to do that. There's a whole list of that in my book, in Empowering Your Health, and that is a real key by cutting down the foods that create inflammation. All right, that's always the key. Now, depending on if it's RA, you didn't really list if it's osteo, so I'm just going to go with osteoarthritis on this one. Vitamin D is a big one. So you want to get your blood levels checked. Make sure vitamin D is around 70 to 90 on the upper end of the range. And also making sure that you're getting plenty of omega-3 fatty acids and probiotics. Probiotics put the good bacteria back in the gut. And when it comes to arthritis, it makes plays a key role. Now, here's a kicker. Apple cider vinegar. Incredible research on that. Apple cider vinegar really has good research behind it. So you want to look into that, and you want to make sure that you're getting, with apple cider vinegar, you're getting plenty of it. And you just do a tablespoon or two a day is typical. And Bragg's makes a great brand of apple cider vinegar. It's been around for ages, and it's kind of the gold standard. But, yeah, it is great research. Increases hydrochloric acid production in the stomach. You'll break your proteins down better. You'll break your food down better. If you have acid reflux, it helps with all those sorts of symptoms. I mean, from a natural perspective, it's just like, my gosh, everybody needs apple cider vinegar in their refrigerator. I'm just a firm believer of it. So those all can help with arthritis. And, of course, keeping moving, not getting stagnant, not laying around is important, too. He needs to keep it moving. So whatever you got to do to keep him at 75. 75 is still really young, by the way. get out, get moving, exercising, whatever he enjoys doing. And that can be extremely helpful for, arthritis. It's a challenge, I know. But it all comes down to what he puts inside of his body each and every day. Lines are open, 888-283-7272. You can call me right now. We'll talk about your health, talk about your life, and maybe if it's not for you, it's a friend, a family member, a loved one. You want to get some information for them so you can empower their lives. That's what it's about. So give me a call. We'll talk about it. Go online. You can shoot me an email. And don't forget our preferred wellness providers, healthcare providers in your area that believe in these lifestyle nutrition principles. They're everywhere, and we're growing every single day. We'll be right back.
Are you ready to chow? It's time for Keto Chow. When it comes to eating healthy, the keto diet has become one of the nutrition leaders in optimizing health, losing unwanted weight, and reaching your health and wellness goals. No extravagant cooking, no long kitchen cleanup, and most importantly, especially for me, it's convenient. Just put quality Keto Chow powder in a bottle, add some heavy whipping cream or your favorite fat, a little water, and boom, shake it up and you're ready to chow. Keto Chow tastes amazing. So make Keto Chow easy for you and your family today with Keto Chow. Let's go chow. Visit Keto Chow online at ketochow.xyz. That's ketochow.xyz.
To find out more, visit the show online, InShapeNetwork.com.
Talk about eye health a little bit and night blindness. Well, night blindness, also called clopia, is an inability to see well at night or in poor light. And it's really not a disease in itself, but rather a symptom of underlying disorder or problem, especially untreated nearsightedness. So your optometrist is really a great place to go to get all this looked at. And we really don't visit our quote-unquote eye doctor as much as we should, especially we wait till things break down. And that's just one of the worst things you can do, whether you're going to your regular physician for your overall body and your health or your eyes. And so night blindness is due to a disorder of the cells in the retina that are responsible for vision in dim light. And so it has many causes, including nearsightedness, glaucoma, and, of course, cataracts, diabetes, retinitis pigmentosa, and vitamin A deficiency are some of the root causes. In order to determine what's causing the night blindness, the eye doctor or the optometrist will perform a thorough eye exam and may order any number of specialized tests. Now, how is night blindness treated? Well, treatment for night blindness will depend on the cause. It may be as simple as a new prescription for eyeglasses or switching glaucoma medications. And sometimes with an ophthalmologist, it might require surgery in cases of cataracts. But at the end of the day, it's important to go get your eyes checked. So important. And having someone that understands more natural methods is phenomenal. Just so you know, lutein, xanthan, there's some great supplements from a natural perspective out there that are extremely beneficial. And, of course, you want to eat foods, fruits and vegetables, high in the colors. So the brighter the colors, many times, the more protective it is for the eyes, especially in the orange and red category. So just a couple things to think about. Go see your eye doctor. I'm a big fan. Got to get that checked up. Just like getting your teeth checked every 6 months with your dentist. Make sure you get your eyes checked on a regular basis. Very important. Monty, you're next on the show. How can I help?
Hey, thank you so much for taking my call. I really appreciate your show.
Thanks, man. What's going on?
Okay, I'm 48. I'm not taking any medications. I'm in good health. I have good hearing, but for probably about a year or so, I've noticed only when it's quiet, it doesn't bother me when I'm watching TV or even like now on the phone, but when it's very quiet, going to sleep, when I'm sitting in the car when I was on hold, I have this tinnitus ringing in my ears. It's just a little bit higher pitch, and it's annoying. And so I have not seen a doctor because I am a man, and we don't go to doctors very well.
Amen to that, and I am one. So, yeah, I know.
But I have you on the phone, so so you're my first step. So I'm looking for some suggestions, some natural alternatives, or some ideas on what I can do to mitigate or even eliminate my tinnitus.
Couple things. first, it could be a deficiency. Here's my little stick on a ringing in the ears, tinnitus. All right, it's one of a couple of things. You want to go after the nutritional deficiencies first, and then research tells us if that doesn't work, then it probably is permanent. All right, I'm just letting you know that up front. And so, you go to your doctor, that's what they're going to tell you. So usually, if it's in the right ear, it's a wheat allergy. All right, so you're allergic to wheat products, bread, pasta, cereal, crackers, anything has wheat in it. You want to eliminate that, and it may take about 7.5 to 8 weeks to make a difference. So it takes a while to really figure that out. And then it may be a manganese deficiency. If you have a manganese deficiency, the left ear is going to be challenged with that. And it doesn't take a lot of manganese to replenish it. So whatever brand you end up getting at your health food store or whatever, whatever brand you end up taking, it'll be fine. They'll come up with a good, milligram dosage and all that for you. Just talk to them about it. But yeah, you want to do that for about 7.5 to 8 weeks. If you don't see a difference then it could be a permanent issue, unfortunately. So, I would definitely go see a doctor and talk to them anyway. There may be some new medication out. There are some that they can try. They're not really technically for tinnitus, but they can, sometimes the docs will see if it works with you. So you might want to go check it out. Is again, another thing that's really important here is, I can tell you what the standard is, but there's nothing like looking inside someone's ear too in the physical exam. And so that's why I think someone ought to take a look at it. And that's just, that's our standard answer as doctors. Somebody needs to take a look at it. And it's true. It's kind of like, you told me about the tire on your car. I can tell you the basics about a tire on a car, but until I see the big, nail sticking out of the side myself, I don't know whether you need to replace the tire or we can patch it. Same kind of thing with your body. So have someone take a look at it. Keep me posted. All right, 888-283-7272. That's 888-283-7272. Lines are open. Questions about your health. We've got answers. Don't forget you can send me an email. Food for the day is oregano. And oregano, which I think is phenomenal. It's the warm, balsamic, and aromatic flavor of oregano. It's incredible for lowering yeast. It's strong antibacterial properties within the body. But oregano is known as Oreganum vulgare, which is many parts of Europe. It's been used for just so many years. And it, of course, grown there, and it's a plant itself, and it's just phenomenal for what it can do. Now, the oil is usually made and extracted from it, and it's a strong, effective antibacterial. With the Pseudomonas, it's really good with Staphylococcus, so staph infections can be very good internally and externally taken. Okay. In Mexico, researchers have compared oregano to tenazanol, which is a common used prescription drug to treat an infection with Giardia, which is kind of the thing are concerned about when you go to Mexico in the water. And the researchers found oregano to be more effective against Giardia than commonly used prescription drugs. So it's got potent antioxidant activity as well. Oregano contains numerous phytonutrients, including thymol and rosmaric acid, that have also been shown as function of potent antioxidants and can prevent oxygen-based damage to cell structures. So in the, kind of like think about oxidation and all that sort of thing, antioxidants, phenomenal. Now, what they found is, though, on a per gram basis, oregano has 42 times more of the antioxidant activity than apples, 30 more than potatoes, and 12 more than oranges, 4 more than blueberries. And it tastes pretty good, too. So it's great to add into your foods. It's incredible all the way around. So you might want to think about adding oregano oil, not really oregano oil. I mean, if you want the concentrated fat and you've got something you're dealing with, the oil is going to be the best, okay? But if you're looking for just prevention, it's great to just use it over your foods and keep it as a traditional spice in your kitchen. But I'm telling you what, it is phenomenal for yeast infections. So if you've got candida at all, oregano oil is phenomenal for helping clear that out of the gut. So if you're taking the nystatins and you're doing the diflucans and you've done all that, those are potent medications and they work. But if you want to look at it from a natural perspective, oregano oil has really good properties, and your doctor can probably work with you on that. That's just some tidbits of information, especially when it comes down to that. It's our food for the day, which I'm a big fan of. I think food can be our best medicine. so many times. And you have to, of course, make sure that you're getting the right kinds, of the day. Now, flu season's off to a slow start, they say, after the big H1N1 linked drama of prior years ago. Good to hear. It's not some massive outbreak of the flu going on. And that's true. A lot of the clinics, friends of mine that run clinics and run primary care facilities, they're not seeing that many cases of the flu like they have in years past. So it's a great, great thing to know. People are stepping up on the prevention side. I think it's because we're taking more vitamin D. Yeah, or it could be, other reasons. But just know that vitamin D plays a huge role in your immune system, especially when it comes down to the flu, bacteria, and viruses. Judy, you're next. How can I help?
I've had a chronic cough for years, and I've been losing my voice for a good while now, for over a year. And I've been to specialists, but ear, nose, and throat specialists, they just tell me it's raw from the top to the bottom, but everything treatment they've done hasn't worked. So I was hoping maybe you could suggest something that hadn't been tried.
Well, there's a couple of things. If you've got a chronic cough and there's a couple of things going on. Number one, you want to make sure you clear out everything in the gut. Here's why. Yeast, fungus, bacteria, even small parasitic involvement can, in the digestive tract, poor bacteria, all of those sorts of things can produce irritations even within the lungs, because the gut controls so much throughout the body. In the lungs itself, you want to get everything checked out. Hopefully you go to your doctor and I would get everything looked at from that perspective. But, there can be things that can cause spasm that could create the cough as well, even if your lungs are clear. And sometimes food sensitivities and food allergies can do that. Wheat products, always, if you've got a chronic cough or any type of reaction going on in the body, you want to cut out two food groups. One are wheat products because of gluten and, the breads, the pastas, the cereals, the crackers, all of that. And then two is to cut out cow's milk dairy. The casein protein is a very tough protein molecule, especially when it's been homogenized and pasteurized for the body to break down, and can cause a lot of food sensitivities. So cutting that down can be a big help in this overall equation. So look into that and keep me posted, because I know that can be annoying. But again, at the end of the day, cut down inflammation in the body and you'll see a real victory. Get with your doctor and have them check everything out as well. Lines are open, 888-283-7272. We'll be right back with more Healthy Talk Radio.
Did you know that you can listen to the Asa Rx audio experience on Spotify and Pandora? For all the ways to watch and listen, check out our show page at asarx.com/experience.
Connect with On Call Radio and watch On Call TV at InShapeNetwork.com.
Show's about you. It's about your health and your life. And don't forget, you get emails and phone calls all the time. The preferred wellness providers are healthcare practitioners in your area that believe the same way we do. They incorporate a lot of the principles we talk about here on the show into their clinical practice and can take care of you in a great way. Natural-based care, combining all the methods and techniques that are out there on the cutting edge, and, of course, lifestyle being the focus to go from where you are to where you need to be. Our scripture for the day, Proverbs chapter 16, verse 18. Pride goes before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall. Nothing could be further from the truth. That is for sure. Does junk food in our schools matter? Does it? Well, junk food sales in schools, long blamed for contributing to childhood obesity, does not make a difference overall in the weight of middle school students, according to a new study. Now, I'm reading this to you to say a couple of things. I mean, I remember back in the day when I was in school and just what our school lunches were like and the kind of food that they had. And, I mean, it was pretty bad. And a lot of overweight kids then. But, I mean, now, the amount of overweight kids, I've just never seen anything. So researchers followed more than 19,000 students from grades 5 to 8 and 1,000 private and public schools. And we found that basically there's no relationship between going to middle school that sells junk food and gaining weight. Researcher Jennifer Van Hook, who's a PhD professor of sociology, the message, she stresses, is not that junk food is okay, but that schools are probably not the main source of kids' junk food intake. They're saying that pretty much they're getting it somewhere else, like at home. So one scientifically found study says that there's a link between availability of junk food in school and weight gain in high school students. Van Hook's study was what's called an observational study, which means it cannot prove cause and effect. And the only link or association really with it. Still, she expects to find a link, she says, but did not. Well, I've got news for you. I mean, okay, let's do the big study. There's no link to junk food and kids. Okay, let me tell you something. You eat junk food every day. Let's say you got a really fast metabolism, okay? And it's possible. And we know that the metabolic rate is different between people. Let's say you don't get fat. What are you doing to your cells? So if you eat junk food all day long, let's go past the whole weight and obesity issue. Let's get into the fact that if you're eating fried food and processed foods every day, what kind of cells are you allowing the body to make? All right, so the schools themselves, I mean, first is Michelle Obama, the food within the school systems and make it healthier. I'm a big fan. So I'm a huge fan of what you're doing, just so you know. And I think just to say that it's no big deal, that it's probably what the parents are doing more than the schools, well, then what kind of standard as a school are you wanting to set? You just want to let it just fall by the wayside? Or as a school system, whether public or private, don't you want to set a standard of what is right? You're teaching our kids education. So do you not want to teach health education? And provide and teach. I mean, you've got RDs on staff. See, this is the thing. The registered dietitians, which I'm also a big fan of, have been clawing and scratching, trying to make a place for themselves in the medical community as the gold standard for nutrition. But then you have registered dietitians that are on staff to make these decisions on what should be healthy in the schools, and it's a bunch of garbage. So what's that all about? I mean, I think that something needs to be done, especially in the public school systems, even in the inner city, where we just let it be. It's crazy. In the inner city, that should be where we should step up our government funding and go in and make the food so amazing to where it's going to teach them. Because I guarantee you, their parents can't afford to have good, healthy food. So at least the school system could provide it, teach them what it's all about, and they could at least have one healthy meal a day. I don't really get into the political side of things, but I'm telling you, that's a big deal. And I think we need to step up and do that, because from commercials to everything on television, our kids learn to eat junk food. I mean, when's the last time you saw a fast food commercial with fresh organic greens and some organic chicken, and Michael Jordan sat down to eat a bowl of that in front of it and got the kids all excited about it? Never. So I think it's time that we do step this up and we do make a difference, because when it comes down to junk food and it comes down to a generation now that has type 2 diabetes, 1 out of 3 of our young people have type 2 diabetes under the age of 11. Really? I mean, when I was a kid, under 11, diabetes for kids, unless it was juvenile, type 1, where it's more autoimmune and you're born with more a gene defect, I mean, it was like unheard of. And now you ought to see it. It's crazy. So many kids are overweight. So many kids are dealing with diabetes. It just blows me away. And we have to make a change. But who's going to make that change? Are you? Who's going to step up and say, you know what, enough is enough? And I'm sick and tired of it. Who's going to take that stand? Somebody needs to. I hope you will. I know for the little bit of influence that I have, I am partnering with some great people coming up that we're going to be doing some incredible things with the schools and nutrition. So watch out. You're going to see that fairly soon. I'm pretty excited about it. That's another hour in the chart. Go tell one person something you learned on this show, and together we can change the health of our friends, our families, and our communities. Remember, this is the show that helps you get well, stay well, and live well, especially in the middle of knowing that 80% of the health challenges we face today are diet and lifestyle related. So know this, regardless of what your diagnosis is, you can get a new prognosis. You can change, but you have to be willing to do that. No one else can do it for you, but we'll do our best on this show to bring you the information that can help.
Did you know you could listen to the Asa Rx audio experience on Spotify and Pandora? For all the ways to watch and listen, check out our show page at asarx.com/experience.
Hi, it's Asa. I'm giving you a copy of my best-selling book for free to help you in your health journey today. I'll pay for the book. All you do is just cover the small shipping and handling costs. Go to asarx.com and get your free book today.
This episode is over, but check episode notes for links to products and services you've heard about on this episode. Thanks for listening and subscribing. Please share the Asa Rx audio experience with others and stay in touch by giving us your comment or review.
Hi, this is Asa, and welcome to my audio experience. The body can get sick. It can also get well. It's about lifestyle. It's about the choices that we make every single day. Why? Because the choices we make every single day can and will determine the kind of health we're going to have tomorrow. And it's what it comes down to. It's about thriving. And in this day and time, when we're facing so many different challenges from different areas, I mean, heart disease and cancer and diabetes is just coming at us left and right. It's all due to our lifestyle choices. So if we can make better choices, then we can get our body functioning at a higher level, which means we can live at a better level. So if you have, a condition or you've been diagnosed with something, realize that you don't have to stay there. That just because you've been given a diagnosis, say, of diabetes type 2, doesn't mean you have to have it forever. It means that if you're having to take medication for it, your body broke down to the point where you needed the medication, and that medication is keeping everything at bay. But my challenge to you is, what are you doing every single day to make sure you don't have to do that? What are you doing every single day to build your body back up into a place where you're not going to be stuck taking the medications? They're good for a while, but you don't want to do it forever, right? You want to get your body where it's functioning at a much better level, and that's what we want to help you do. And with heart disease being the leading killer right now, there's so many tips we need to focus on for heart disease and getting it healthy. The 5 areas that we want to look at, I'm going to jump in here for a minute to talk about it. So the risk are one of the big ones. So knowing what normal blood pressure is and what the number should be, 120/80 is the appropriate number. And you want to know your goals for key heart health indicators. And the goal for the blood pressure should be around 120/80. And then, of course, your cholesterol numbers should be under 200. That's pretty important to know. The American Heart Association and the American College of Cardiology, these are pretty much the standards written by them. And you also want to know, when it's keeping the heart healthy, you want to do your homework and be your own heart health advocate. So ultimately, you want to do the best at preventing heart disease or stroke by doing your homework. You just want to make sure you're making the right choices every day. So the signs and symptoms of heart disease is another one. So heart attack can kill over about 250,000 women each year, and very close to that with men, about 400,000. And chest pain is the majority of signs and symptoms. So when you're having a heart attack, you'll get a lot of chest pain. It may not be crushing, explosive that many people report, but it's still sudden. It comes on out of nowhere, severe and persisting. That's leading up to a heart attack. Unusual fatigue is another big one. So if you get really, really tired, can't snap out of it, and the fatigue lasts for a few days or even weeks, and you just can't get out of it, go see your doctor, because there's something going on with the heart, and you're not getting the energy levels back that you needed. There's a major issue going on. Shortness of breath is another big one. Just remember, weakness, shortness of breath, and the generalized fatigue and the pain, those are all really, really big symptoms. Profuse sweating is another big one. So heart attack can cause a man or a woman to suddenly be drenched in sweat for no reason. Oftentimes, you can feel hot and cold or a little bit clammy.
And anxiety, that's another big one. So you start getting anxiety and just feeling uneasy about something, and you have any of these other symptoms, you want to go see your doctor fairly quickly. Just because heart disease can sneak up on you. It's not one of those things that it gives you a big warning sign. It's like, hey, hello, the heart disease is coming. Oh, by the way, you may have a heart attack this afternoon. Just want to let you know. It doesn't happen like that. It comes on suddenly to the point. That's why so many people just have a heart attack and die right there. And some people have heart attacks, mild heart attacks they call them, and they're able to get to an ambulance and to the hospital and get stabilized. And for them, their lives become spared. So that's a real important piece to the overall equation. Have someone look at it. It's so, so important. And have your heart checked on a regular basis to make sure that everything is where it needs to be. Having that physical done each year is critical. 888-283-7272. That's 888-283-7272. Lines are open with questions about your health, and give us a call or go to the website. Let's go to Paula now. Hi, Paula.
I had a pituitary tumor removed last year, and I just wanted to know about the cortisone levels and how long it takes to return to normal.
If you had the pituitary tumor removed, the cortisol levels, remember the pituitary gland is the master gland. So it controls everything, all the different hormone systems and all. The cortisol, it does affect the adrenals, and the adrenal glands are where the cortisol levels are managed and handled. So you have to look at that and make sure that those levels are where they need to be. That's what I would do first and foremost. So with the pituitary being gone, surely they're giving you different medications to manage some of these other areas. And for the cortisol levels, one of the best things you can do, of course, eating is important. Your eating habits, making sure you have plenty of lean quality proteins, low glycemic carbohydrates and fruits and vegetables, and getting all that in balance. But the other key that is so, so important with cortisol is making sure that you're getting plenty of exercise, but not too much. I wouldn't go over about 40 minutes worth of exercise, and making some really good strides in those areas as far as using certain components like green tea, phosphatidylserine. Those are great components to keep down the cortisol levels. Sleep patterns make a big difference. A lot of people really disregard how important sleep is, but sleep is a major player for keeping cortisol levels at bay and not letting those get out of hand. So a couple of tips that can help you along the way. That will definitely make a big difference. And then get your blood testing done. Cortisol and DHEA levels need to be managed and tracked to make sure they're in a good place. Okay, 888-283-7272. That's 888-283-7272. Give us a call or go to the website. If you haven't got the app yet, it's out. So check that out. You can easily go to the website, look for On Call Radio in your app store for your iPhone, iPad, whatever. And our lifestyle providers, these are healthcare providers in your area that believe the same way we do. A lot of people just call us and they email us, social media, send us things about wanting to find a doctor in your area or someone that can coach you and take you by the hand. Well, our lifestyle providers, that's what they do. And we've got great team members growing all around the country to help you and to encourage you. Coming up, we've got some new tips that I want to give you based around fat loss. I know that's a big hot topic, weight management. And what are the right ways to do it and what are the wrong ways to do it? Plus, I see you waiting there on the phones. I'm going to be taking your calls coming up as well. And some digestive tips. If you get a lot of gas, bloating, don't feel good, and just can't quite get the digestive system to work in the way that you need to, I have some tips that will help coming up to give your digestive system maybe the jump start that it needs to really go to that next level. We'll be right back.
Hi, it's Asa. I'm giving you a copy of my best-selling book for free to help you in your health journey today. I'll pay for the book. All you do is just cover the small shipping and handling costs. Go to asarx.com and get your free book today.
To find out more, connect with On Call Radio online at InShapeNetwork.com.
Now, Dave in St. John's, Michigan says, my fingertips, especially my middle fingers on my hands, the palm of my right hand, the bottom of my feet, very dry and crack open like cuts. And my fingernails were very unhealthy as well, and they've gotten a lot better. And so I do not have fungus underneath my nails. And they said if you looked at my nails, they look normal. I had warts my whole life and a host of issues with my immune system. What can I do? Well, that's quite a bit, but I'll tell you this, it's okay. I mean, the reality is, let's look at the skin, for example. That seems to be a concern, and that's probably very uncomfortable to have going on every day. But when you look at the skin, especially in that way, and you start looking at the cracking that can happen, that's an imbalance typically of the omega-3 fats. So it's an imbalance of the fatty acids, omega-3s and 6s. Getting more omega-3s is going to make a difference. Fish oil, cod liver oil is a great way to get that. And I think it's one of the best. But you notice that, and then also you got to work on the internal environment, because remember, the skin happens from the inside out, not the outside in. So working on the digestive tract, the gut health, getting the right kind of probiotics in, the good kind of bacteria in, all that will make a difference. And once you get that stabilized and that balanced, then your body will really begin to notice a change and notice a difference. So that's a huge key for you on that. And I would look at that first and foremost, because the skin itself is challenging, because when that starts happening, it seems like a big cascade of events, kind of uncomfortable. But it can heal up. And it's not about the creams and lotions and potions you put on the outside. It's all about what goes on the inside. 888-283-7272. Give us a call. We'll make you part of the show. And if you're looking for a lifestyle provider, someone in your area that believes the same way we do, check out the website. Let's go to Raymond. Hi, Raymond.
Yes, I'm calling in regards to my son. He has difficulty eating his food and regurgitates his food, but he seems to, whenever he takes an anxiety medicine like Klonopin, he seems to be able to eat. I don't understand what's causing this condition. He's had endoscopies and they haven't found anything, but I just don't understand why he can't eat his food and it regurgitates all the time.
Well, there's a couple reasons, a couple thoughts behind it. If they've done testing and they can't find anything, and that's what I'm hearing you say, then you got to look at another route. Now, what's interesting is that you said he takes the medication and then he can eat. So that medication deals with a lot of anxiety in the body and affects the body's levels. So it seems like when his GABA levels, which is the brain chemical that drug affects, when his GABA levels in the brain come up and they're elevated or back to normal, then it seems that he's able to eat. So his GABA levels in the brain might be really, really low. And if they are, then of course you can do things to bring it up. I mean, GABA is made in the body. It's in the brain, but you can't just take GABA as a supplement and fix it. Okay, that's not how that works. You really have to use a couple of components like tyrosine, it's an amino acid, and threonine, which is another amino acid. You put those two together, and that can help build GABA levels up in the brain. Because straight GABA, if you take it, like from a health food store, it does not cross what we call the blood-brain barrier. So it's like a piece of saran wrap that's around the brain. It doesn't cross that. And so it has a hard time doing that. So you got to really get the right components in it to raise GABA levels up and get them where they need to be. The next piece that you want to look at, too, I think is really important with him, is making sure that he gets enough of the fatty acids, but also getting enough vitamin B6. And that pyridoxal 5-phosphate, the P5P, is extremely important as well. And like I said, when you're looking at anything like what he's dealing with, you want to make sure everything is getting set in the stage. Enzymes, probiotics, proteolytic enzymes, using those in between meals to make sure his proteins are breaking down. But that typically is what causes it. I mean, you have to have certain deficiencies in the gut. Things aren't stabilized the way they need to be. And then having some consistency with that will make a difference as well. Okay, 888-283-7272. That's 888-283-7272. Give us a call or go to the website. Now, if you get gas a lot, indigestion, a lot of gas and bloating, here's some little tips that can help. All right, so if you get gas, number one, you want to introduce fiber slowly. So if you kind of jumped on the fiber wagon, then start slow. Don't just throw your body 40 grams of fiber a day. It's not going to know what to do. And yes, you will get gassy and bloated. A lot of excessive gas is from also getting too much air and swallowing air when you eat. So when you're chewing, take your time, slow it down, and that'll make a difference. Sip, don't suck. Sucking on hard candies or chewing gum can be worse and worsen the gas and bloating. Instead, you want to drink through a straw and take your time. Don't be in such a rush. A lot of the artificial sweeteners, too, can cause gas. So there's some fermentation that can happen inside the colon. Things like sorbitol can lead to excessive gas in the body. So just be cautious with some of those. And don't recline. A lot of people want to go eat a big meal and then lay back. But actually, digestion becomes more challenging at that point, takes longer, and you get a lot of excessive gastrointestinal gas and bloating, that sort of thing that has to be really looked at. And walk off your meal, too. Here's another one. People say, take a little stroll after a Thanksgiving Day meal or some kind of big meal. But what if you took a stroll every single day after your every dinner meal? And you're eating light, it would make a big difference. This physical activity and movement really does help the digestive system process the final elements of food and keeps the digestive system in track or in line the way we need to. So another key piece for that, say no to sodas. They'll throw the gas and bloating in a big way. And cold drinks will do that as well. Go more for room temperature.
It don't matter.
Are you ready to chow? It's time for Keto Chow. When it comes to eating healthy, the keto diet has become one of the nutrition leaders in optimizing health, losing unwanted weight, and reaching your health and wellness goals. No extravagant cooking, no long kitchen cleanup, and most importantly, especially for me, it's convenient. Just put quality Keto Chow powder in a bottle, add some heavy whipping cream or your favorite fat, a little water, and boom, shake it up and you're ready to chow. Keto Chow tastes amazing. So make Keto Chow easy for you and your family today with Keto Chow. Let's go chow. Visit Keto Chow online at ketochow.xyz. That's ketochow.xyz.
To find out more, visit the show online, InShapeNetwork.com.
Remember, if the body can get sick, it can also get well. It's about lifestyle. It's about the choices that we make every single day. The good news is the choices we make every single day, they can and will determine the kind of health we're going to have tomorrow. Now, I love telling you about foods. Why? Because food really can make some of the biggest difference in our health. It's our best medicine in so many different ways. So the foods we eat today determine the kind of health we're going to have and the kind of body we're going to have tomorrow. So let's jump in and talk about one of my favorites. Now remember, the body doesn't know the difference between baked chicken and fried chicken or French fries and broccoli, but you do, and I do. So we have to make better choices, and that comes down to us. We have to make those choices so that we can thrive and not just barely make it. So we're going to be talking about tangerines. And tangerines are powerful. They got a lot of strong antioxidants. Like most citrus fruits, the tangerines are rich in vitamin C. It's great for the immune system. It works to boost the immune system by acting as an antioxidant that protects your cells from the damage caused by none other than free radicals. Vitamin C's antioxidant power comes from its ability to scavenge free radicals and disarm the propensity for their damage. Digestive benefits are pretty amazing. Oligosaccharides, it's from pectin. It acts as an adhesive between the cell wall, and tangerines are loaded with them. A study published recently by the American Society of Microbiology showed that when digested, pectin is fermented within your intestines and can increase the number of beneficial microflora found in the gut. So cholesterol-lowering benefits, the fibrous white tissue that's found between segments of tangerines is called the lamella, and this membrane is rich in soluble fiber. It's one of the most beneficial effects of a diet high in soluble fiber in the reduction of cholesterol found in the blood. So soluble fiber lowers cholesterol by forming a thick gel-like substance in your intestines when it's being digested, and the substance slows the absorption of cholesterol that reduces the low-density lipoproteins in the blood, makes a big difference. So the dietary recommendations of soluble fiber is about 10 to 25 milligrams per day. And then, of course, weight management is always a big key. Eating a well-balanced diet that's mostly fruits and vegetables is a smart way to manage your weight. And the high fiber content of tangerines can help keep you feeling fuller for a longer period of time. So, again, the fiber is a big key difference. Fruits and vegetables always makes a difference. And tangerines, a lot of great properties to it, and they're easy. They're easy to carry with you and easy to implement into your normal life. 888-283-7272. That's 888-283-7272. If you're looking for a lifestyle provider, check out our website. Our team members are always standing by to help you, and maybe there's someone in your area, and they're growing around the country. It's amazing to see our providers that are helping people get the help that they need each and every day. Let's go to the phones and talk with Judy. Hi, Judy.
The reason I'm calling is I have an autoimmune thyroid. I have it for several years, 20-plus years, probably close to 30. And now I have, like, positive ANA. I have really high SED rate. I have, I'm testing positive to smooth muscle AB titer DNA antibody, and I have the autoimmune thyroid, of course. My albumin is 3.2. And the ssDNA IgG antibody was 263, which of course is high. And I was just trying to get some advice.
Really, what you want to do in that kind of situation, it's about stabilizing the immune system and keeping it where it needs to be. So on one hand, you want to be really careful with the immune system not to get it overextended, but on the other hand, you want to keep it as dormant as possible. And you got to figure out which arm of the immune system is active and which one is more on the dormant side. So the activated side with that is going to be more along the lines probably the T1. We call it the T helper cells or killer T cells, but it's the T helper really. And the T1 side and the T2 side, you've got to figure out which one is more active and which one is not. That's first and foremost, and that'll be one of your best bets in that realm. And then the next piece of it you want to look at, too, are your food choices that you're eating each day. So making sure that you're eating the right kind of lean quality protein sources like chicken, fish, beef, or eggs, and then your low glycemic carbohydrates in the form of fruits and vegetables, and your healthy fats, your almonds, your walnuts, your cashews, your avocados. All of those make a tremendous difference in keeping your body as balanced as you need it to be. And that can make a big difference along the way. But yeah, that's the direction I would go, because your blood testing, if you get that done on a regular basis, hopefully you're getting it about every 6 months or so. And when you get the blood testing done, you'll be able to make sure that you don't have any deficiencies that are there that could be leading you in one direction or the other. 888-283-7272. That's 888-283-7272. Lines are open with questions about your health. Give us a call or go to the website. That's the key. One of the big keys you got to focus on is getting balanced. Once you get your body balanced, that is where it all starts. Carla, you're next with us. How can I help?
My question is, I am, I think, allergic to meat. I am 46 years old. I have, we found out that I was allergic, I'm going to say in my early teens. And my question is, Is this something that I need to be worried about, moving forward as I enter my midlife? If there are things that I need to do to supplement protein, or things as my body needs change. I find like it wasn't a big deal when I was younger, but now that I've crossed that 45 mark, things are starting to affect me, and I don't know if you have any recommendations for me, being that I am allergic to at least red meat and some fish and definitely chicken.
There are a couple things. I mean, the meats that we want to talk about that are really, really important, and it's something that's a big key, actually, is you eliminate the meats from your diet for a period of time. I would say usually about 8 weeks. And once you eliminate it for about 8 weeks, then you can slowly introduce certain ones back in, like if it's grass-fed beef or if it's bison or venison, you can slowly add pieces back in and see how your body responds to it. Sometimes our body develops, when we think it's an allergy, sometimes it's just more of a sensitivity. And then once you eliminate the foods for a period of time, you can add this back in, and then, of course, the body can adapt to it. That's what we want to look at first. And then once you build a good, solid game plan for that, then you can go from there. But that's where I would start. I would majorly start from that perspective, because one of the keys you have to look at, and in this, it's important. The body can develop that with anything, not just meat. It can happen with vegetables. It can happen with grains, which I see that quite a bit. Dairy products, it can happen. And you want to also make sure the body's breaking proteins down. As we age, then we start losing hydrochloric acid so much in the stomach, and we're not breaking foods down as well as we used to and need to. And that becomes quite the challenge. So sometimes it's good periodically just to really clean the system out and reset the system. And using non-inflammatory based foods, it's like hitting a reset button on the body, and it does wonders to help you get your body where it needs to go. 888-283-7272. That's 888-283-7272. Give us a call or go to the website. Another study now is linking a Mediterranean diet to better health. And this is the research that when we all saw it, and we were coming out of the high carb era in the 80s and the 90s. And the Mediterranean diet really came on the scene and showed everyone that fats were not bad for you, that a study that is a moderate fat diet with nuts and olive oil and fish oil and avocados, that actually was preferred, and the body preferred that to a higher carbohydrate diet. And that way, more vegetables and fruits and legumes were used in the carbohydrate storage, plenty of fish and eggs. But the Mediterranean diet, they're saying, is always good for heart disease in every way. I mean, there's study after study after study after study after study that comes out on this. And metabolic syndrome is reduced. But people that struggle with cardiovascular disease, diabetes, high blood pressure, and metabolic syndrome, it's just incredible to see the differences. Getting your HDL levels to come up, your LDL levels to come down. And after a follow-up with people in these studies, they found the general principles of the Mediterranean diet were the overall success rates of why they were doing so well. So food really does make a difference. At the end of the day, your doctor may have you on 3 medications. If you don't change your lifestyle, restructure your lifestyle, then you're not going to reach the health goals that you're looking for. And that's where the goals come from. That's where our real success comes from. It comes from our choices that we make every single day. It's critical. And one of the keys you want to focus on is building a good, solid game plan. And it just comes from making wise choices. And on this show, that's what we want to help you do. We want to help you make those choices so that your body can thrive and you're not stuck. 888-283-7272. That's 888-283-7272. If you haven't checked out the app, go to the App Store. You'll see that, of course, for On-Call Radio. You catch the show from the day before all the way until we go live the next day. And then something else you don't want to miss, our new In Shape program is available. If you want to lose weight, feel better, have more energy, and begin to thrive again, go to the website. You can find out more information and learn how to get in shape. Now, coming up, we're going to jump in. I've got some more questions I'm going to get to. I see you waiting there, so hang tight. And then some social media and also some fat loss tips, plus brain chemistry What can you do with depression and anxiety and even bipolar? Are there ways to support it naturally? We'll talk about that when we come back.
Did you know that you can listen to the Asa Rx audio experience on Spotify and Pandora? For all the ways to watch and listen, check out our show page at asarx.com/experience.
Connect with On Call Radio and watch On Call TV at InShapeNetwork.com.
Whatever you're struggling with, realize that the body can get sick. It can also get well. It's about lifestyle. So the choices we make every single day can and will determine the kind of health we're going to have tomorrow. It's all about that. So the great news is that so much of the power of making a better lifestyle, having a healthier body, lies in our hands. We can really choose to make that difference every single day. Sleep influences our food choices. Did you know that? So sleep deprivation, if you're not sleeping enough, can lean us into picking the wrong types of food. So poor sleep leads to poor food choices, a new study says. Researchers looked at about 23 healthy young adults and found that they were more likely to favor unhealthy snacks and junk foods like pizza and donuts when they were sleep deprived. And that happens, of course, in college. You see young people doing that constantly. But the brain scans revealed in these studies that sleep deprivation was linked with impaired activity in the brain's frontal lobe, which, of course, governs the complex decision-making, and increased activity in the brain areas associated with rewards. So what we discovered is the high-level brain regions required for complex judgments and decisions become blunted by a lack of sleep, while more primal brain structures that control motivation and desire tend to be amplified a little bit more. Study senior author Matthew Walker, who's a professor of psychology and neuroscience at the University of California, Berkeley, said in a news release that high-calorie foods also became significantly more desirable when the participants were sleep deprived of less than 5 hours of sleep, and the combination of altered brain activity and decision-making may help explain why people who sleep less also tend to be overweight or obese. And it does make sense. I mean, the two correlate quite a bit and go hand in hand. So it's interesting just to see the correlations in how the various changes are happening within the two. It's for sure, sleep makes a big difference in our brain chemistry. That's when everything regenerates, is when we're sleeping. So the better sleep we get, the better the brain's going to function, and the better we can do, obviously. 888-283-7272. Give us a call. If you haven't found a lifestyle provider yet, check out the website. You can find someone in your area that believes the same way we do, all this nutrition and lifestyle-based care we talk about. And if you haven't checked it out yet, go to AmericanPharmacyCompany.com. I get a lot of calls and emails about people that are looking for diabetes testing strips or the glucose meters, or maybe you just need certain medications and you want them at a really good price. The prices are amazing, and they ship nationwide, and they've even got natural products that can support you. But they're the best I've ever seen. They are family owned and operated, but they ship all over the country. It's AmericanPharmacyCompany.com. You have to check them out. They will take such good care of you, and very close personal friends of mine. We use them ourselves. Powerful, powerful company. Let's go to Martin now. Hi, Martin.
I am a diabetic, and I'm on the medication Levemir, and I got a question. Would that be the reason or the cause? I keep getting male yeast infection, and there's something I can take to help with that problem and keep it from getting that? Or just by me being a diabetic, is that something I have to deal with, throughout my life with this sickness I have?
Well, a couple things you want to do. And one of the big keys that you have to look at is you've got to look at the reason that it's showing up there. I mean, there could be a multitude of reasons, probably the diet more than anything. So if you're doing a lot of processed foods, processed sugar, that's probably one of the root causes and one of the main reasons that it's happening. So you definitely want to increase your healthy fats, cut down on your grains, your pastas, your cereals, your crackers, the flour-based foods, increase your starchy carbohydrates as far as sweet potatoes, peas, those kind of foods, but really cut down on any of the foods that could raise inflammation. That's a major piece of it. And so many people, when you're looking to rebuild the body and clear the body out, that becomes a culprit. Now, here's a little secret that a lot of people don't know. Black walnut and wormwood are two herbal remedies that very, very powerful. They've been used for many, many years to really support the body, to clear out yeast and fungal issues in the gut, and they can work. Now, I really favor doing it over a longer period of time, like 21 days, and using certain foods to clean the system out. I think you just get better benefits, but it doesn't hurt to look into some of those herbal remedies that have been around for quite some time. And from the alternative world, they get rave reviews. So you might want to just check into that. And I believe there's been some studies done on those in Europe, if my memory serves me right, that have been very beneficial and powerful. 888-283-7272. That's 888-283-7272. Give us a call or go to the website. Obesity is, of course, one of the biggest challenges. I think it's the biggest crisis of health that we're facing right now. But a lot of research said that race had affected obesity's toll on the health, but now they're saying no more. So that the American Cancer Society, they did a study, and they looked at race versus the pounds, and now it's come to a place where it doesn't matter. Usually it used to be African Americans that headed up the obesity category, but now the Caucasians and even other ethnicities have caught up. And so they're saying now that's pretty much general across the board in the obesity category of what we're dealing with here in America. So we really have to take a stand. And this is an area that I have just waged war on. I just have a passion because our lifestyle choices determine the kind of health we're going to have. If we're overweight and we're making wrong choices and heading in the wrong direction, the body's going to spiral out of control. You'll have to take medications. You might manage it, you might not. It decreases lifespan and quality of life. And if we can create change, we can make a difference. And that's what we do here on the show. Puts another hour in the charts. I want to thank our producer, Jay Patrick, engineer John Garrison, and the rest of the team. Go tell one person something you learned on the show. Together, we can transform the health of our friends, our families, and our communities.
Did you know you could listen to the Asa Rx audio experience on Spotify and Pandora? For all the ways to watch and listen, check out our show page at asarx.com/experience.
Hi, it's Asa. I'm giving you a copy of my best-selling book for free to help you in your health journey today. I'll pay for the book. All you do is just cover the small shipping and handling costs. Go to asarx.com and get your free book today.
This episode is over, but check episode notes for links to products and services you've heard about on this episode. Thanks for listening and subscribing. Please share the Asa Rx audio experience with others and stay in touch by giving us your comment or review.
Hi, this is Asa, and welcome to my audio experience. If the body can get sick, it can also get well. That's the amazing thing about the human body. And the thing is that all we have to do is make better choices every single day. Learn more, educate ourselves more, and we can empower our health, which will empower our life. And that's unbelievable when you see that. And you see it in someone's life, because so many things, or so many times, we get stuck in a rut and we get diagnosed with something like arthritis or depression or anxiety. We lose a job, somebody dies, we go through depression, deal with anxiety, and then all of a sudden we feel like the world's crashing in on us, when all we have to do is start making the right choices to dig ourselves out and get stuck where we are and start making better choices for our health and for our life. And we can. But it starts with you. No one else can make a decision for your life but you. The doctor can't do it for you, your husband, your wife, your kids, your coworkers. No one else can take responsibility for your health and your life but you. And so on this show, that's what we want to do. We want to be
an encouragement to you, a voice to you, to help you go from where you are right now in your current state of health to where you need to be. And that is one of the greatest things you can do. 888-283-7272. Quote for the day comes from Reggie Leach. He says, success is not the result of spontaneous combustion. You must set yourself on fire. I love it. Let's go to Joe Dean. I think I said that right. Is it Joe Dean?
It's Joe Dean Harris.
Joe Dean, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
What can I do to help?
I have a brother who's been diagnosed with a cirrhosis of the liver. He was in the hospital a few weeks ago, and he's out now. He's never been a drinker, but he had hepatitis some years ago. And he's on furosemide, I think, and lactulose and some other spirulactone or something. He's wanting to know, he's wanting to know, is this as much as can be done, or is there something nutrition-wise he should be doing?
There's a lot that he should be considering if you're dealing with the liver.
Uh-huh.
Now, what have the doctors told him? Nothing?
I beg your pardon?
What have the doctors told him? Nothing?
My battery is running down in my phone. I've been waiting so long, I forgot my charger. I can't hear you. I'm breaking up.
That's okay. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to answer your question. We'll put you on hold here, Jay, if you don't mind. Now, when you're dealing with the liver, there's a couple things that you always have to consider. Just in general, the liver itself is one of the top regenerating organs in the body. So regardless of what damage happens to the liver, even with something like hepatitis B or hepatitis C, which can be very challenging in their own right, the liver is fairly resilient. Now, depending on the decline of a disease process toward the liver, that can be the deciding factor and at the level that it's declining. So that's just a couple of things to consider in the middle of that process. Now, for general liver health, detoxification is the key. So eating well is very important. Not putting a toxic overload, meaning a lot of preservatives, a lot of processed foods in the body that the liver has to work double time and overtime to overcome. So that is vital and that is important. Using certain supplements can be helpful. And there's good research on something like milk thistle. And again, it's not an end-all be-all, as we say in the South, but it can be very beneficial and it can be very helpful. But again, it's more than anything, it's about healthy lifestyle. If he can maintain healthy habits, drinking plenty of water, getting good proper rest, eating a an anti-inflammatory diet like that's in my book, Empowering Your Health, which will set the body and set the stage for the body to function at a very high level. If he can do those things and start eating healthy, start exercising as best he can with the energy that he has and pumping that lymphatic system and helping the body naturally detoxify, those are some of the best things that he can do because the body will change and it's possible. I'm not saying that it definitely will just turn around and that everything's going to be fine, but it will change and he just has to be willing to change and he has to be willing to change his habits, and that's the key. So from a natural perspective, there are things like a liver gallbladder flush that helps clean out the liver and the gallbladder. You can do research on that. It's in my book, Empowering Your Health, also has that in there. And those are the kind of things. But if he's under the care of a physician and it's at that level, then whatever you decide to do or whatever he decides to do from a natural perspective, make sure the doc knows. And it's, and I'm adamant about that because the head coach the PCP, the primary care provider, is always the head coach. A lot of people will just go out and do their own thing. I'm not a big fan of that. And people call me all the time and they want to, what's the remedy for this and that and the other? And I don't mind talking about these sorts of things, but just don't go home and try to wing it yourself. That's not good. And I just want to make that point really, really clear because let's go now to Ed. Hi, Ed.
Hi, Dr. Asa. Thank you for taking my call. About 3 years ago, I was diagnosed with sleep apnea. Hello?
Okay. Yeah,
about 3 years ago, I was diagnosed with sleep apnea, and I tried this CPAP machine for a couple months and didn't work out too well. And I wonder if you have any suggestions that I might try. Last fall, I tried some alternative nutrition response testing. I don't know if you've probably heard of that or not. But,
oh, yeah, definitely.
The different products didn't help any. And my physician recommended I take extra vitamin D, and I've been doing that for several years, but nothing's changed much. Do you have any suggestions what I might try or do?
What is your height and weight?
I'm about 6 foot and 165 pounds.
Okay. And so dealing with sleep apnea, have they done blood work on you to check all your different values and all, and they said everything's fine?
Yes, everything checked out pretty well. Yeah. I was low on the vitamin D, but I've taken extra since then.
Okay. What about B12?
I'm not sure if they tested that. I'm not positive on that now.
Okay. No, that's all right. I'm just curious. There are some blood tests that you would want to run and that are not standard. If they haven't dug deep enough, probably just ran some basic tests, and if everything was checked out there, they usually won't dig any deeper. And you could have a lack of oxygen going into the blood, meaning you could have possibly a B12 deficiency. Intrinsic factor could be low as well. There's another blood test called TIBC, total iron binding capacity, and that's a great way to really evaluate the iron levels in the body. Iron puts the oxygen in the red blood cells, and when they get low, potential toward anemia, that can cause some of these issues, as well as ferritin. Ferritin is a storage tank for iron as well, and it's kind of the reservoir. And when it gets really low, like down 50 or below, then it becomes a challenge because then you're not able to utilize the iron that you do have. So there's a lot of good information in the blood test. If they don't do the right ones, if they kind of just the basic ones and don't dig deep enough, that could be an issue. So I'd probably look into that. And there are strong evidence around food allergies causing swelling within the throat area and within the area back there that can cause some of these issues with apnea, especially for someone like yourself that's not overweight. That's why I asked you height and weight. So you might want to look into avoiding certain foods like dairy and wheat and maybe see how that works for yourself.
Hi, it's Asa. I'm giving you a copy of my best-selling book for free to help you in your health journey today. I'll pay for the book. All you do is just cover the small shipping and handling costs. Go to asarx.com and get your free book today.
To find out more, connect with On Call Radio online at InShapeNetwork.com.
The show where your health is your greatest wealth. You know, they found that heavy smoking is tied to advanced kidney cancer. Well, it's kind of like one of those duh moments. It's kind of like, yeah, well, we get that. Smoking's tied to just about everything. Well, they found that it's really strongly tied to kidney cancer. And just so you know, the kidneys are pretty amazing. They're one of the top 3 organ systems that we have to function, or we're out for the count. And I talked to a nephrologist the other day, and we were just having a discussion just about several things health-wise. And he said that actually our kidneys with everyone began a pretty strong decline at the age of 35. And I was thinking, well, gosh, that's not very hopeful. I think that no matter who you are, technically, biologically, that there's a strong decline that kicks in at age 35 with our kidneys. And depending on our lifestyle choices that we make every single day based from that age of 35 will determine the span of how well our kidneys do through the end of our life. So you think about that for a second, because kidneys play such a big role. And then, of course, if you have a health challenge like diabetes, that's going to speed the rate of how the kidneys can decline, and high blood pressure can do the same thing as well. So in this, they're talking about smoking, how it increases the risk of advanced kidney cancers or kidney cancer. And a new study at Duke University Medical Center reviewed the cases of 845 patients who had surgery for kidney cancer or renal cell carcinoma between 2000 and 2009, and they found that current and former smokers were 1.5 to 1.6 times more likely to have advanced cancer than non-smokers. Heavy smoking, smoking for a longer period of time, and smoking more was associated with advanced renal cell carcinoma. Kicking the habit reduced the risk of having advanced disease by 9% for every 10 years that a former smoker was smoke-free, the investigators found. Now, the findings were slated for presentation Sunday at a special press conference at the American Urological Association's annual meeting in Washington, D.C. Another study scheduled for presentation at the same time, briefing, found the rates of bladder cancer did not fall along with the lower rates of smoking in the United States. The researchers examined the national database and found that lung cancer rates declined along with decreasing per capita consumption of cigarettes between 1973 and 2007, but the same type of consistent decline was not seen in bladder cancer rates. So there may have been a decrease in bladder cancer due to smoking, but that decrease was offset by other factors contributing in a rise of bladder cancer in the last few decades. So these two studies shed new insight, they say, into the role that smoking might have for two important urological cancers. The news conference moderator, Dr. Toby Kohler, said in a news release, for kidney cancer, it is true that kidney tumors are more often being detected these days when they're smaller. However, smoking seems to confer a much greater risk than that cancer may be more aggressive. Cessation of smoking seems to lower the risk. Well, quitting smoking is going to lower the risk for a lot of issues within the body. I mean, and I think all physicians would agree getting patients to quit smoking would be half the battle. That and drinking alcohol and being sedentary and overeating. I mean, you cut that out in our lifestyle in America, and you would see our health improve greatly. So it's about motivating and encouraging people to break through these habits and going to the next level in their health and with their life. 888-283-7272. And also, you can sign up for our weekly email newsletter. It goes out to you each and every week, and it will give great information. Also, other experts that we bring on to interview as well. Let's go to Jim. Hi, Jim. Welcome to the show.
My wife
Good
is
to talk with you.
34 this year, and she has a lot of pain with arthritis. She's been getting progressively worse for the last 4 years. It's rheumatoid because her fingers are going kind of crazy. They're turning, you know. Her great-grandmother had rheumatoid arthritis. And what I was wanting to know, other than to watch the diet part of the stuff to stay away from, the other night I heard you talk about vitamin D. Could you please talk about that? And is there anything wrong with getting a very small amount of garlic, oil of oregano, and curcumin in my wife's diet to help with the inflammation? Because she's a tough little soldier. She doesn't even take the ibuprofen for the inflammatory, but every year she's just getting worse and worse, and I'll take my answer off there. Thank you, sir.
Well, hold on. Don't drop off if you can. Are you still there?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I need to ask you some questions. The first is, so she was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis how long ago?
7 years.
7 years ago. And how deformed are her hands right now?
Well, they're not. You have to look to see. They're not bad, you know, but I mean the fingers are, instead of straight, they're going in the wrong direction. They're bending at the knuckles and the joints. They're deforming. Well,
yeah, they're deforming now. So she's not taking any. Hold on, she's not taking any of the methotrexate or any of the medication that Remicade. None of that.
No, she will not. Now, keep in mind, she's a very intelligent woman. As a matter of fact, she's a lab tech at a major hospital, but she has always believed that her body does the healing. She doesn't want to get treated for it, and try as I may, many different ways. I don't know how it works in your house, but in my house, she just will not. She just won't do it until she's forced to do it. Do you understand my dilemma?
Yeah, I do. I get it, because I know you're all about what you want her to go natural and be as healthy as possible, but you also want her to be able to salvage her hands at whatever cost.
Right.
And not lose any of that.
Right.
All right, let me tell you this. I recently, yesterday actually, worked with one of the top rheumatologists in the country. And I'm going to tell you some insights that he actually shared with me yesterday that actually opened my eyes. And here I am, this natural guy that likes to do everything natural, and I really learned some things from an evidence-based that opened my eyes, that I learned about rheumatoid arthritis that I think I'm going to share with you, and it's very timely that we're having this conversation. I do understand that, there's only so much you can do, and when you love somebody, you can't force them to do anything. You can only love them through something and encourage them and be a cheerleader. And that's why you're calling me. You're like, man, I need some ammo to help my wife. So we're going to talk about rheumatoid arthritis when we come back.
Are you ready to chow? It's time for Keto Chow. When it comes to eating healthy, the keto diet has become one of the nutrition leaders in optimizing health, losing unwanted weight, and reaching your health and wellness goals. No extravagant cooking, no long kitchen cleanup, and most importantly, especially for me, it's convenient. Just put quality Keto Chow powder in a bottle, add some heavy whipping cream or your favorite fat, a little water, and boom, shake it up and you're ready to chow. Keto Chow tastes amazing. So make Keto Chow easy for you and your family today with Keto Chow. Let's go chow. Visit Keto Chow online at ketochow.xyz. That's ketochow.xyz.
To find out more, visit the show online, InShapeNetwork.com.
about your wife and how she's dealing with rheumatoid arthritis. Been diagnosed for about 7 years. Is that right?
That's right.
Yep. And so now she's real adamant, works in a hospital, real adamant about not taking the standard medicine, Remicade and methotrexate, sulfasalazine. I mean, all of the different medicines that are typically recommended standard of care for rheumatoid. And so now, which it's normal, rheumatoid arthritis will affect certain areas of the hands, and it can really affect different areas. It can do the elbows, the knees, the ankles, the shoulders. It can affect just about any area, but the standard in the hands are in the wrist and also in our knuckles, our regular knuckles, the basic knuckles, like where you make the fist, called our MCPs, and then also in the what we call the pip joints, the proximal interphalangeal joints, which is kind of your middle knuckle right there. So those are the ones that it affects, and that's why when it affects the pip joints, which is the proximal interphalangeal, that's where it starts bending the fingers, and that's where we get those deformations that form. And those are called the Burchard's nodes. And so it really is a challenge all the way around. Now, here's the deal. When it comes to rheumatoid arthritis and you're dealing with that, I was talking to a rheumatologist, and it was really one of the top in the country. And he has some really good insights that, of course, kind of floored me a little bit. Just so you know, I'm not a big fan of having to do methotrexate or the Remicade or anything. But he was telling me that the mechanism of how it works within the body, which, I mean, we all study it and we know it. If you go to medical school, you study all this stuff. But again, you learn so much information, some of these little details you leave out. And that's why the specialties are so important, because once you go through your general training and then you go into your specialty, although you forget a lot of the basics, you get so specialized that you know that one specialty inside and out. And when we were talking rheumatology, it just blew me away. And he was showing me the mechanism, although it is a little hard on your liver, the medication, which most medications are. But the methotrexate and Remicade, really tough on the liver as well. That's why I have to check blood work and all. But he said that it really can really slow down the progression, or if not stop, he said, the progression of the rheumatoid. And literally, I walked around with him with some patients, and he showed me some different cases of some people that he had taken care of. And there were some that did it late, kind of like your wife is doing, where she's just putting it off until it gets so bad that she's forced to do something. And those are the ones that you can't help, because once the deformation happens, it's completely non-reversible. It will not ever go back to the same, ever. But if you catch it in time, when the pain begins and all, then it is. And I know you're faced with the deal of, hey, listen, my wife's pretty hard-headed, strong-willed, and when she's got her mind made up, there's no changing it. So your biggest, I guess, goal here is to be her cheerleader and to be her biggest fan and to be her encourager and be like, look, honey, I talked to this guy, or you've done some research, or however you want to pitch it, and give her that example. Now, am I saying go take the Remicade and all? That's a decision that she has to make, but I will tell you, coming from a guy that I highly respect and that's board certified in rheumatology, has been practicing for well over 20 years, it was the evidence and what he showed me, I'm pretty sold on the concept of it. But let me tell you this, from a natural side of things, there is a lot she can do. Now, here's the deal. Here's a little trick of the trade. You're dealing with T1 helper cells and T2 helper cells. Rheumatoid arthritis is an autoimmune condition. So let's go back to the basics. Take that medical approach that I just told you and that information, and I want you to just hold it in a box. Let's go over here to the natural side. Natural side of things when you're dealing with rheumatoid arthritis. Rheumatoid arthritis, autoimmune disease. Autoimmune, what does it mean? It means that it's self-attacking. So that the body thinks that the joints, for whatever reason, is foreign to the body, and it's potentially cause damage to the body. So what happens? The immune cells, the T1 killer cells, and the T1 helper cells and the T2 helper cells, you used to call them killer T cells, but those immune cells begin an all-out attack on whatever they think is an invader to the body. So if they think the joints are an invader, they're attacking the joints, which causes the breakdown and the deformation. Now, here's the deal. There is a way nutritionally to look into, they found, research has, to use certain components to suppress, can't stop it, because remember, autoimmune disease is like a light switch. Once you turn the light switch on, the best you can hope for is that there's a really good dimmer switch on there. And your goal and your hope is to get that dimmer switch to dim all the way down with the lights barely on, so you can slow that process down, all right? Now, there's a little self-test, and there's blood tests and everything else you can check, and you can get with your doctor on that. But I can tell you a little self-test at home
where you can kind of know, she might notice some things herself. First thing when dealing with autoimmune is that you have to figure out which one is active. One of those usually not both of the T helper cells are activated. It's kind of like a teeter-totter or a seesaw. And, if one side goes up, the other one goes down. If the other side goes up, the other one comes down. So it's usually like that. And so when you're dealing with the T1 and the T2 helper cells, the reality is green tea activates the T1 helper cells. And echinacea tea, or echinacea in general, I just mentioned the teas because it just kind of is what it is. The echinacea tea, I'm sorry, I said that backwards. Echinacea tea affects the T1 helper cells. Green tea affects the T2 helper cells. So, for example, here's a little self-test. If she were to drink green tea and feel better, all right, then it's probably, it's going to be suppressing the T2 helper cells. If she drinks green tea and feels worse, she's stimulating the T1 helper cells, meaning that substance is stimulating it, because they found that certain herbal components and certain foods can stimulate and suppress the T1 and T2, not like a medication can, but it's almost like it can either aggravate it or relax it, if that makes any sense. And so that's a little self-test. So, for example, she might want to look at maybe drinking echinacea tea for 3 days or so and see how her body feels. If she feels better, but if that therapeutic dose, and you might only have to take a half a tablet a week, but that medication can be preventative for the joints getting worse. But what if she was doing an anti-inflammatory diet, figured out whether the T1 or T2 helper cells were involved, and could construct a diet around that, which could be her daily weapon? Then if she has to take the medicine for a preventative method to go to that next level, it might be 80% less of a dose that she would have to take if she did nothing. See what I'm saying? So if she has to use some of that to be protective against her joints breaking down even more, then, it is what it is. But if she can combine more of a natural thought of what can she do to get the body functioning at its best and suppress whatever immune cells are attacking her body, see, that's where the real help comes in. And that's where you can combine the natural-based thought and research behind that with traditional thought of healthcare, so that it's really not one or the other. And I hope you can kind of convey that to her, that it's good to look at both sides, especially when you're dealing with rheumatoid. And I got to tell you, until yesterday, I wouldn't have agreed with everything I just said. But after I've seen what I've seen, there's some strong validity to it. So I hope you'll consider that, and I hope that gives you some conversation tools for your wife. But we're always here for you. If you need anything, keep me posted, or you can always shoot me an email. Thanks for the call. 888-283-7272. That's 888-283-7272. Let's go now to Joe. Hi, Joe.
How you doing?
Living well, Joe. What's going on?
I have runny nose and I sneeze and I'm coughing, and sometimes my throat feels so way down. And I like to know what can I do for this symptom.
How long has it been going on?
About 3 days ago.
Okay. You've been going pretty hard, pretty stressed out?
Sort of, yes.
So nothing new going on. You just started having the runny nose and the sore throat.
Right.
Okay. Have you been to your doctor yet?
No, I haven't been to the doctor.
Well, you got two options. It sounds like it could be bacterial and it could be viral, because you're still within about a 3-day period. Do you have any fever?
Sometimes, not too often.
Have you checked your fever to see if it was elevated?
No, I sure have.
Yeah, I would at least get a thermometer and check, see if you had any kind of fever within that. Because, with bacterial, here's the deal. Bacterial infections, if it lingers very long, then you might want to consider, going to your physician and getting it treated. If it's viral, it'll be in and out pretty quickly, but you'd have a fairly strong fever if it was viral, and it would hit you probably harder than what you're feeling now. So again, probably a little bacterial infection, and you kind of got an option. See how it feels, and this is my thought. This is what I would do. You see how it feels, and crank up things like vitamin C and just all your immune supplements and all, and eat really, really well. Cut out all the sugar and all that. Just make better choices here for the next week, and do the best you can there. Drink plenty of water. All those common sense stuff, and see how the body does. If it's still flared up, I'd go to your doctor and consider getting treated for it if it's lingering around. But again, most bacterial infections clear out in 14 days. But again, it's the gauging point of how bad it's affecting you. Only you know that. But I do want to encourage you, if it gets worse, definitely go see your doc so they can figure something out for you.
Did you know that you can listen to the Asa Rx audio experience on Spotify and Pandora? For all the ways to watch and listen, check out our show page at asarx.com/experience.
up with On Call Radio and watch On Call TV at InShapeNetwork.com.
Lines are open, 888-283-7272. That's 888-283-7272. You know, chronic pain is something that so many people deal with. They do. And the use of drugs for it, narcotic drugs, are even more prevalent. And a lot of the pain clinics are forming now. And the adage is, I think right now, that in Florida, there's more pain clinics than there are in the entire country combined. And it's really become a challenge. But they're saying now that chronic pain can affect, or is affecting, 116 million Americans. And it's become a real public health issue. And at the time, something to do about it. They're saying that there's a report done by the Department of Health and Human Services, and it was mandated by the Healthcare Overhaul Law, that estimates that chronic pain costs between $560 billion and $635 billion each year in medical expenses and lost productivity. But it adds pain, and also personal, and affecting each person's individuality. So the chronic pain, from cancer to back pain, is influenced by heredity, stress, depression, and other factors, and sometimes lingers after the underlying condition is treated because of the changes in the nervous system. So pain can be a disease in and of itself, yet the report points out few medical schools require or even offer courses on pain, and I'll tell you that. Exactly. I'm telling you right now that in medical school, we learned nothing about pain management. Zero. They don't even offer it. So if you don't get it in some of your rotations, which, I mean, it depends on through internal medicine or family medicine, if you deal with some chronic pain patients, which most of those do, depending on where you did your training, and you don't get any education on it. So you're just kind of off to the races. Hopefully you'll get some through an internship or residency. So as one member of the committee in this report, Dr. Sean Mackey, chief of Stanford University Division of Pain Management, said in a news release that chronic pain is a disease that affects more people. Listen to this. It affects more people than heart disease, diabetes, and cancer combined. That's huge. All right, those are your big three. Heart disease, diabetes, and cancer combined. Chronic pain is a disease, so they're calling it a disease that affects more people than all the big guns that we see in America combined. Yet we spend only a small portion of the budget of the National Institutes of Health on understanding its cause or how to treat it. And our hope is that this report will serve as a wake-up call, they're saying, which I think this is good to our country. And the new healthcare law requires that a National Academy of Sciences arm and make recommendations to the Department of Health and Human Services about the state of the science, they call it, in pain research, care, and education. And the report calls for more than everything, more research, more training in pain, which I think would be good for healthcare professionals, and expanded insurance coverage of pain care, because, I mean, that is crazy. I completely agree. If there's no training in it, you know, with it being one of the top diseases in our country, as they're calling it, is pretty amazing. So the government agencies and healthcare providers, professional groups, educators, and everyone, really, public or private, they're saying pays for healthcare, really can help get the job done in this. And I do. I agree with that. I think that it's a huge wake-up call for all of us if you're in the healthcare field at all. And I think that without a shadow of a doubt, if it's affecting 116 million people in this, it's pretty incredible. And we're spending $500+ billion a year in lost productivity and medical expenses. It's time to make a change. And unfortunately, it's basically legalized drug use. And the problem with it is it's had a bad rap for a long time, is because there's a lot of people, don't get me wrong when I say this, there are many people that need the pain medications. They do. Literally, they're in end-stage cancer. They're dealing with whatever they're dealing with, chronic back pain that's so painful you can't even move, and they really do need it. It's very hard to gauge when somebody is using, so to speak, when they're actually taking the medications simply because they want to. They enjoy the high. They like the way it makes them feel. They are going through things in their life, and maybe it helps numb the pain, emotional pain. And I've seen plenty of patients that do. I mean, I've seen plenty of people, patients that do that, and it's sad. It really is. And unfortunately, there's not enough regulation of it, and I think it needs to change. I think there needs to be a strong regulation of it. I've seen certain clinics and I've seen certain programs put in
a 3-step protocol where they can actually screen you, and then if you get into what they call a high-risk category through some of the screening process and the interview process, then they won't give you the meds. And I've seen that, and I think it's good. It is a very good process because that way no one comes in on the first day and they can get the drugs. You have to go through a process. And only when you get through that process, and you know, they're great actors too. Let me tell you, people that want their drugs become very good at this. So I think that in the middle of this all, if education would change, if it would become mandatory, which I think for physicians and providers, mid-level providers, to go through some type of educational course where they could really brush up on pain management, understand it better. It's one thing to understand the drug and the biochemistry of it and know how and when to give it. But it's another thing to understand the entire process of pain management, when to use it, when not to, you know, how to read situations better, and to have good training and quality training. And some people say that comes with experience, but at the end of the day, there should be some standardized testing because you're going to have younger docs, nurses, and whomever that come out of the gate that don't know and may make poor judgments, not because they're not good at what they do, but because there could be some inexperience involved just based on the game that's being played. So in this area, with it trumping heart disease, diabetes, and cancer combined, it's an area that needs extreme focus, in my opinion, that we really need to jump on to go to the next level in our health. Puts another hour in the charts. I'd like to thank our producer, Jay Patrick, John Garrison, Leslie Pardue, and the rest of the team. I'm your health and lifestyle coach. Go tell one person something you learned on this show, and together we can change the health of our friends, our families, and our communities. You're listening to the best in healthy talk radio, where we're diagnosing hope one person at a time. Remember, whether you're absolutely thriving or challenged in a hospital bed, remember, there's always hope.
Did you know you could listen to the Asa Rx audio experience on Spotify and Pandora? For all the ways to watch and listen, check out our show page at asarx.com/experience.
Hi, it's Asa. I'm giving you a copy of my best-selling book for free to help you in your health journey today. I'll pay for the book. All you do is just cover the small shipping and handling costs. Go to asarx.com and get your free book today.
This episode is over, but check episode notes for links to products and services you've heard about on this episode. Thanks for listening and subscribing. Please share the Asa Rx audio experience with others and stay in touch by giving us your comment or review.